Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about Linux. Now, for all you people who don't know what Linux is, you may have heard of it, you don't know what it is, you never really tried searching it up. Linux is basically, you have Microsoft, you have Mac or Apple, and then you have Linux. Now, Linux is totally different, even though it's a type of operating system or, uh, yeah, type of operating system. Open source. Now, for any of you people who don't know what open source means it's basically free, and you can change the product in whatever way you want, and you can give back to the community and all this good stuff. So I want to talk about the most important, or not most important, I take that back, most popular one, which would be Ubuntu, or Ubuntu. Now, they have 10.10 release candidate, and they have a netbook, and they have distribution for, or they have a OS for server. They have an OS for desktop. I never really checked out the server one at all. Um, I don't know how it works. I never tried it. Did try the netbook. I didn't really like the interface of it, but I do like the desktop. I want to talk about the desktop a little bit. Uh, Ubuntu works um, in kind of like a combination between Macintosh and um, Windows, kind of put together, but the way the companies work are completely different. Uh, so, with that being said, I just want to say, you know, the menus are different and everything like that, but if you combine them two, you kind of get this. And uh, you see you got the buttons up in the corner, you can choose whole bunches of themes, and you could go to the Ubuntu Software Center and you can, you know, um, you could get all sorts of thousands of applications for free. And they actually have a paid for application center now, but I don't think they have many applications in there. But you can get thousands and thousands of applications for free, and I find that really useful because that way you don't really have to go and search deep into Google for you know anything, and it just makes it a little bit more convenient for people. Um, at least that's what I think. And the thing is like, Ubuntu's free. Microsoft is not free, and the only reason I use Microsoft is because it's compatible with more programs. Like Mac, Mac isn't exactly compatible with as many programs as Windows. And if I were to choose between Mac and Linux, I'd definitely choose Linux because Linux is it's more of it's basic. First of all, it's free. Second of all, I don't like the way Mac works. I'm not very familiar with it, for one, but I am familiar with some distributions of Linux, and I want to talk about this as well. Linux has over 2,000 distributions. 2,000 different operating systems. Some are based off of others, some look like others. For example, you see this applications places and system bar, or menu bar up there. If we go to Fedora, Fedora is more of a server-based operating system, but it works in a way sort of similar. I don't know if it's based off of Ubuntu or not, but you see you got the applications, places, and system menu there. Now, not all things or operating systems have this exact menu. For example, some are very different. Um, Linux Mint is probably the best operating system to try if you're clueless to Linux. If you don't know what you're doing, I mean, if you're new to it, they also have a few different versions. I'm only familiar with Debian and um, a little bit of Xfce or XFCE, Xace. But you see you got your menu down there, like the start menu, and you got your clock down here and that kind of thing. That's why it's a little bit more similar to Windows. So if you're new to Linux, that would be the distribution to choose for sure. Um, they have another one called Mandriva, which I never tried, but I hear some good and bad things about it. They have this nice blue look to it. I like the blue look for whatever reason, but I don't like the rest of the interface as much. Their menu is kind of weird. It looks a little bit like Windows 95. Um, I don't really like the way Windows 95 looks, but the rest of it, it's like all polished, nice, you know, that kind of thing. Um, there's a couple more that I know a little bit about. PC Linux OS. Now, I don't know uh, as much about this as I do about Ubuntu or something like that. But maybe there's some screenshots here. I'll actually go look at it. Google Images. Oops. Let's see. Okay. Here's one that I could probably see, that you guys could probably see easier. So this looks a little bit like Mandariva. Um, I don't know a lot about the derivatives and distributions. A distribution is like Ubuntu is Ubuntu, Mint is Mint. Mint is actually based partially off of Ubuntu. I don't know how. I don't think they look alike at all. Um, Debian is basically the mother of all operating systems in a way. Uh, this is probably maybe one of the first ones you might want to get, but I don't know a lot about it. Uh, see, it's basically um, one of the first operating systems from Linux out there. And if you go to linux.com, the site doesn't really have much to download or anything like that. Here's the Linux homepage. Um, you know, let's see, download. If you click download, the cool thing about Linux I want to talk about as well is you can download the operating system, put it on a live CD, and you put the live CD and you click that F12 or F10 or whatever, and you go to your boot menu and you select the CD and you can click try the operating system or install it or whatever, and you can check if you're on Ubuntu or Linux Mint. From what I know, you can just click try operating system without installing, or it'll be something like that, and you could try the whole entire operating system without installing it at all. The only thing you'll have to install is, well, obviously, you have to download the 600 megabytes to your computer, put it on the disk, but that's not much really. You can always delete it if you don't like it, and it's very simple to delete. You just have to delete the ISO. Also, I want to talk about, you know, Windows 7, the new Windows 7, like Windows 7 Ultimate, is I think about 20 gigabytes. 20 gigabytes takes a lot of space on your hard drive. I have a 200 something gigabyte hard drive, and with all the drivers and stuff, Windows XP takes up about 30 gigabytes of space. 30 gigabytes of space is a lot of space. This one only take about 1 to 1.5 gigabytes with all your essentials installed that you'll need to run an operating system. But like I said, Linux is not even compatible with games like Perfect World or Fiesta or as many things. Songbird you can get on Linux as well. I've stated in one I reviewed them. Uh, there's like Firefox is available on Linux. Firefox is open source, so they you know take that for granted because they're like, oh, this is open source, let's use it. I don't know if Google Chrome is. I think they made it partially open source, like some things you can edit, some things you can't. Excuse me. So that's rather interesting actually to me. Uh, there's other distributions. I could go on forever, really. Red Hat. I never really heard anything good about this thing, but I'll take a quick look at it. I don't really know at all about it much. Um, Here, why don't we go to Google Images and type in Red Hat interface. So this looks like that Mandriva one except different colors. Um, I don't know why they picked the word Red Hat. That's kind of weird to me. Um, I don't know why at all. But I like the look of Ubuntu better, personally. I think this is actually more for servers. They're kind of like the geeky type. I don't want to call them nerds or anything, but if you're more experienced with this, that would be maybe a distribution to look at or check out. From what I know, they have a free one and a non-free one. Also, uh, SUSE and OpenSUSE. SUSE is, I think, is the one you have to pay for, and OpenSUSE is one you don't. I don't know if I said it backwards or not, but you can build your own distribution here, which I may check out later. I don't know for sure. Uh, I don't know a lot about OpenSUSE or SUSE. Uh, let's go check out what the difference is. Looks like they have a chameleon or something like that as the theme. So it looks like they have a lot of products, which is quite interesting. Might take a look at this later. Um, but really, they're all good operating systems. Some are more easier to use than others. And, you know, if you want the challenge or something like that, then you should go for one like Red Hat maybe or Mandriva. Ones that aren't similar to Windows as much. You know, that might be for you. Um, there's some other ones like let me think. Oh, there's so many. I don't even know where to begin. Honestly, I mean those are the top ones. Uh, KDE is basically the way you look at Linux is like Debian. Think of it kind of like a company. You have Ford, and they have like Ford for cars. You have Dodge, and you have uh, Toyota, and think of it. Ford is like Debian, one of the most popular, and Dodge is maybe like KDE or something like that. You know that all these things are very cool in a way because you know they're free and you don't have to pay for them. These things are customized by the community, and that's what I really like about Linux. But I don't really have as much experience with it as I do in Windows. And if it was compatible with whoopsies, as compatible with Windows like applications, I would go with Linux. I definitely would all the time. Um, Linux Mint, Ubuntu, probably one of those. Maybe Fedora. I never tried it. Um, PC Linux OS maybe. But they're all good. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. It's kind of been long, but thank you for watching.